The honourable member from Calgary Shepherd.
Thank you, Speakers. The member for Winnipeg North before talked about your ruling, Speaker. So I did want to read a bit from it because I did quickly read it over one more time. And you actually did not praise anything the Liberal government has done over the past 9 years to try to offset the amount of foreign interference in our country, or actually the government has succeeded in somehow protecting parliamentarians, because they have not. In your ruling, you said protecting the security of members, whether physical or cyber, is of course essential to the functioning of the House. Cybersecurity attacks to our systems have multiplied over the recent past, and there are no indications they will stop or even diminish. In the comments made by the member for Winnipeg North, he implied that other foreign governments do this all the time, that it's like a common occurrence that it could be happening. The implication is that there are other parliamentarians who could have been attacked by a different foreign government, and those attacks were unsuccessful, and therefore they were not told before the new regulations came into force in 2023. Can the member comment on that?
The honourable member from St. Albert, Edmonton.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's a good question, and it really does raise questions about have other members been targeted? Have other members been targeted in other cyber attacks by the Beijing-based communist regime that this government is aware of and hasn't informed members, or from other hostile foreign states? If that is the case, then it is incumbent on this government to do what they have failed to do up until now, and that is to follow the directive that seems to be a hollow directive, a meaningless directive, a directive that isn't acted upon, and inform all members affected.
The honourable member from Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan is rising on a point of order.
I didn't want to interrupt my colleague, but in the middle of it, the member opposite shouted across, "Where's the tin hat?" And aside from the fact that I think he meant tin foil hat, the point is that I think that's unparliamentary. That we're trying to have a serious conversation about foreign interference, and he's dismissing real facts, real experience and history about this. Frankly, this is typical of the Liberals, that they try to claim it's a conspiracy when we're pointing out real foreign interference.
So I appreciate that that the honourable member had raised an issue with something that the chair didn't hear, but I'd ask all honourable members please conduct themselves in a way that encourages more comity, especially on an important issue. And I'll ask honourable members if there are some issues for them to take a discussion, perhaps behind the curtains, to try to work that out. Questions and comments? I'm reluctant to continue on this. Is it on reference to the same point of order which was raised by the member from Sherwood? The Speaker has heard enough on this issue, and I will encourage members, please, to take the conversation beyond the curtains. The honourable member from Chatham-Kent, Leamington.
Chatham-Kent, Leamington. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is late. 3 possible reasons for this government's response: ambivalence, unseriousness, or is it just incompetence, or is it willful inaction? I'm wondering if my honourable colleague can opine as to what is the driving force for this government's response or lack of response to this, again, an example of foreign interference.
Very good. The honourable member from St. Albert, Edmonton.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I would submit it is an instance, a part of a pattern of a government that hasn't taken these threats seriously. They have turned a blind eye. They have downplayed it. They have been reluctant to take measures to counter foreign interference. It's only after Madam Justice Hogue's first report, for example, was issued that they finally have introduced legislation to introduce, among other things, a foreign influence registry. So to be charitable to them, it is ambivalence, it is a lack of seriousness, but it could be much worse than that. It could be that this is a government that, frankly, has at times sort of welcomed Beijing's interference, and at the very least, for political and other reasons, has been unwilling to stand up to Beijing.